to ETV Live on Tuesday nights following the Fast Track Racing Series radio show. After organizing a highly successful team series in 2010, Jerry Wolf is back with some kick butt, take no prisoners, team racing action like you have never seen before. The ATV Live Team Racing Series is sponsored by HD Radio Network live on Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't wimp out, dude. Catch the action live at etv-eplay.net. Team Racing Series returns to ETV Live on Tuesday nights following the Fast Track Racing Series radio show. After organizing a highly successful team series in 2010, Jerry Wolf is back with some kick butt, take no prisoners, team racing action like you have never seen before. The ATV Live Team Racing Series is sponsored by HD Radio Network live on Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't wimp out, dude. Catch the action live at etv-eplay.net. Team Racing Series returns to ETV Live on Tuesday nights following the Fast Track Racing Series radio show. After organizing a highly successful team series in 2010, Jerry Wolf is back with some kick butt, take no prisoners, team racing action like you have never seen before. The ATV Live Team Racing Series is sponsored by HD Radio Network live on Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't wimp out, dude. Catch the action live at etv-eplay.net. Team Racing Series returns to ETV Live on Tuesday nights following the Fast Track Racing Series radio show. After organizing a highly successful team series in 2010, Jerry Wolf is back with some kick butt, take no prisoners, team racing action like you have never seen before. The ATV Live Team Racing Series is sponsored by HD Radio Network live on Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't wimp out, dude. Catch the action live at etv-eplay.net. Team Racing Series returns to ETV Live on Tuesday nights following the Fast Track Racing Series radio show. After organizing a highly successful team series in 2010, Jerry Wolf is back with some kick butt, take no prisoners, team racing action like you have never seen before. The ATV Live Team Racing Series is sponsored by HD Radio Network live on Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't wimp out, dude. Catch the action live at etv-eplay.net. Team Racing Series returns to ETV Live on Tuesday nights following the Fast Track Racing Series radio show. After organizing a highly successful team series in 2010, Jerry Wolf is back with some kick butt, take no prisoners, team racing action like you have never seen before. The ATV Live Team Racing Series is sponsored by HD Radio Network live on Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't wimp out, dude. Catch the action live at etv-eplay.net. Team Racing Series returns to ETV Live on Tuesday nights following the Fast Track Racing Series radio show. After organizing a highly successful team series in 2010, Jerry Wolf is back with some kick butt, take no prisoners, team racing action like you have never seen before. The ATV Live Team Racing Series is sponsored by HD Radio Network live on Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern. listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network, is live Friday night. Corn Dog and Corona night here with the Super Speedway Cup Series race number 8 of 12 on the Season 4 Championship. Hello, everybody. My name is Evan Pasoko. Joining me in the booth tonight, once again, Clint Monahan. Clint, the series is going to make its return to the one and only Talladega Super Speedway.
Seems like only 2 weeks ago we were here, and we have just more exciting races like we did last week. Even though last week we had over half the field in the A-main. In the A-main get taken out in a wreck. Last week's winner was actually Josh Hanner. He survived all of the madness that was the A-main, and he also won the second heat race last week. So I'm looking for him to be up front again, just like last week.
And again, the Talladega Super Speedway, 4 turns, 2.66 miles long. It's a long way around this puppy. Again, race 8. We are currently sitting in. We're going to rank to you guys heat race number 4. We do have a handful of drivers in this race, including Dana Osborne, Austin Carver, Glenn Hedrick, Scott Fenstermacher, Kevin Kelly, Tony Fenn, and Raymond Evans are the 7 or so drivers that are going to be joining us for this race. And with time winding down right now in the warm-up session, Clinton, you were talking about some drivers that you were going to keep your eye on. Taking a look at this field, who do you think is going to be up front when it comes down to the end of this 10-lap shootout?
I'm looking for Scott Fenstermacher and Dana Osborne. I've run some open or series events with them and just the iRacing servers, main servers, and they're pretty good here on the Super Speedways, of course. And they are always up front. They've been up front definitely these past few weeks too, if not for some of those wrecks.
Definitely. Well, JD likes to call this big track racing, short track style, and that's because of our unique format tonight. We have 4 heat races going simultaneously. Again, we're sitting in on heat race number 4. Then they will have a trophy dash, a B main, and an A main. So lots of racing to come tonight, and as time winds down in the warm-up, let's take a quick look actually at our weather for Talladega. I guess we should put that in there because iRacing has put in this new weather. Nothing really out of the ordinary though. It's a cloudy day here, 83 degrees Fahrenheit with winds to the southwest at only 5 miles an hour. So perfect race conditions. And as time continues to run down now and the warm-up will finish, we're going to take a look at our starting grid for this race. The front row sitting on the pole for this race, it's going to be the number 78 of Tony Fenn and Raymond Evans to his outside, and the 83. That'll make up row 1.
Second row is Dana Osborne and Scott Fenstermacher, both the guys I'm looking for to be up there at the end.
Glenn Hedrick and Austin Carver, row number 3, 5th and 6th position.
And bringing up the rear, number 32, Kevin Kelly, in his Chevy Impala SS 5-hour Energy.
And finishing orders 1 through 4th position in this race, so the top 4 will go on to that trophy dash, which comes up next here on ATV Live after this race. The other 3 drivers are going to have to battle their way in through the B main, and once you get to that B main, that's a whole bunch of hungry hounds battling to get in. So that's definitely like you almost want to start on the bottom. And he's going to need Kevin Kelly to help him out there with the bump draft. It'll be interesting to see how that works out, but Glenn Hedrick seems to always have his nose in there somehow or another at the end, so that could be my pick for this race to finish up there in first or second place. But again, 7 drivers, super speedway tracks. Well, you're going to need a bump drafting partner, a dancing partner. Well, with 7 drivers, there's going to be 1 man left out. And I mean, you could say it would be Kevin Kelly in the 32 because he's at the back all by himself. But really, in a perfect world, he'd hook up with the 21 of Glenn Hedrick and they'd push. So that could almost leave Austin Carver all alone out there on that outside 3rd car on the top. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing shakes out. 10-lap sprint, not really a lot of time to get strategy. You just got to get up and go.
Yeah, that's a good observation you got about Kevin Kelly. Even though he is the last driver in the field, he is the 4th one on the inside row, and so he'll be able to draft the guy in front of him, and that does leave Austin Carver in that Team Georgia Ford Fusion, or Club Georgia. It's right up the road from me, I guess. That leaves him all alone for the start, but we'll see what happens here as the pace car is getting ready to come out of turn 4 and come down pit road. Remember, on iRacing, it's different from real racing. The driver starts the race whenever he wants to, as long as the pace car has ducked down pit road.
And also, all the drivers, in theory, are going to be in their TeamSpeak chat communicating with each other. I'm taking a look, only one driver down there. So it'd been interesting to see if Tony Fenn goes on the pace car, if he's going to wait, because he wants that car behind him of Dana Osborne to be behind him on the start. Well, the pace car is down on pit road. You see the 8 Osborne right on the back bumper of the 78. We work our way through the tribal towards that start-finish line, which is a little bit farther down. 8's going to give 78 a shove, and the green flag is out at Talladega. They're off, and the 8 and 78 already hooked up. That's a great start for those two as we work our way into turn number 1.
Yeah, how about Scott Fenstermacher already dropping down low, going to try to pick up someone, and dropping down in front of him is Ramon Evans. He's going to drop down from 2nd. He's going to take 3rd place. And, of course, we're looking to the back. Kevin Kelly is right behind Glenn Hedrick, and as we observed earlier, Austin Carver has gone to the back from the 6th position, and he could be going even farther back if he does not find someone to draft with.
Now, how about this? Sitting right now in 3rd place is the 83 Raymond Evans. Well, behind him, Scott Fenstermacher and Glenn Hedrick have almost took that. They have a little bit of a gap between them now, but they were pushing. That looks like that could be a 2-car tandem, so that could actually leave the 83 without a partner, even though right now he's sitting in 3rd, because Carver and Kevin Kelly there at the back, they could hook up. So it'll be interesting to see how the 83 of Ramon Evans is going to work this out. And now the 27 and the 21 are going to go to the high side in 1, but meanwhile up front, it's still the 78 and the 8 of Fenn and Osborne.
And you do see Ramon Evans making his way to the back right now. We thought Carver and Kelly would team up, and they're not really drafting that well together. Maybe you could see Kelly pulling up right behind Evans and drafting with him, but right now there's not much drafting going on in the sense of it, because 18 is still popping in and out right behind the 32 of Kevin Kelly, so there's not much drafting going on. That might help Ramon Evans.
Yeah, it looks like the 18's trying to figure it out. You see, you just can't keep it on that back bumper, swerving all over. And now Kevin Kelly's going to pull up behind Ramon Evans. He's going to try to push, so this could leave Austin Carver without the dancing partner. Look, the 32, though, not really dedicated, so these 3 cars still trying to figure things out. However, up front, Tony Fenn again still being pushed by Dana Osborne. Well, Scott Fenstermacher in that 27, they are gaining with that great push of Glenn Hedrick. Those cars are sitting in 3rd and 4th position. They have now caught up to the leaders. So we have the 2 tandems up front getting closer to each other as we work lap 3 of 10. So it's a short race.
And we're coming down through the tribal. It's going to be 7 laps to go left here as here at Talladega in Lincoln, Alabama. We do have someone who's finally dropped off the pace. Now, Austin Carver has dropped off the pace. Evans and Kelly have gotten together to draft. And we do have a switch finally, our first switch of the night. Fenstermacher and Glenn Hedrick are going to make their switch between 4th and 5th. We're still looking for, actually that was 3rd and 4th, I'm sorry, 3rd and 4th. And of course we're still waiting for the leaders to make their switch. And as you look, Fenstermacher and Hedrick are going right around the outside. You're going to make it a tough thing for Tony Fenn to lead this next lap.
It almost looked like Fenn and Osborne tried to switch there off turn 2. They became really separated. Now the 8, Osborne's going to get off the bumper again, and when that 21 and 27 are hooked up on the high side, here comes the freight train on the top. It's going to be Glenn Hedrick getting the shove from Scott Fenstermacher, and those 2 are now going to go to the .12, and the 78 and the 8 are still to switch. Now they're going to do that, so that's going to work out really well for that 21 and the 27 after being behind a bit. They're going to catch up to them, make the right switch. Now they're going to pull a little bit of a distance now on those 3rd and 4th place cars.
And 2 guys that really wanted to see that switch was Ramon Evans and Kevin Kelly. They're catching Fenn and Osborne really quick as we are on turn 3 here on lap 5. They, I think, made their switch. I honestly forget when they last made their switch. I think it was last lap, and they're catching up to the 78 and the 8 really quickly. But if that's the case, so they will have to make another switch before the 8 and 78 do. As we come across the line for lap 6 of 10, Glenn Hedrick is your leader, followed by Scott Fenstermacher.
And the leaders look for the switch here. There you go. Glenn Hedrick up the racetrack in turn number 1. Scott Fenstermacher below him. Hedrick's going to pull right back on the bumper, a beautiful switch. He's going to already get back hooked up. However, the 8 now and the 78 are going to get a run because they have not switched, so they still have the full force of that bump draft. And we're going to be side by side with the front 2 tandems into turn number 1. Remember, 4 drivers advance from this, and we have 3 tandems of 2. So if you and your partner want to get into the show, you might want to get up and get going. And now you see the 83 of Ramon Evans and Kevin Kelly getting into the picture on the bottom.
How about them? They're pulling right inside of Osborne and Fenn, and they're going to take over at least 3rd position and the 4th position here with we have less than now 4 laps to go here at Talladega. They take over 3rd and 4th position. As I say that, they try to make a switch, or something got botched right there, and 32 of Kelly has to drop back as they get separated. Kevin Kelly and Evans get separated between, or they have Dana Osborne and Tony Fenn and right between them, and as you see now, they're going to go right around the outside of Evans, who does not have anyone to draft with, and as they botch that, the leaders, Fenstermacher and Hedrick, are able to make their switch, and now Fenstermacher is out front, but here comes quickly Dana Osborne and Tony Fenn in the tri-oval.
And you see the 83 Ramon Evans on the bumper, the 27 of Fenstermacher on the bottom. That's because he and Hedrick switched. So the 83 is not really going to be able to hang on to there for long if the 21 and the 27 stay hooked up. And now this is going to leave Kevin Kelly out of the picture. He's watching them all pull away from him now. So now, so to speak, Ramon Evans is in the water without a paddle because he has no partner. He's just trying to hang on for dear life in between of these 2 tandems. And I mean, we're coming by to the stripe this next time around to take the white flag. So time's ticking down now as the 8 and the 78 switch. That's all for 4th and 5th position.
Hedrick still your leader, being pushed by Fenstermacher, and Evans is right up on the bumper of Fenstermacher, getting him a little loose coming out of turn 3 right there. You're taking the start of lap 9, only a couple laps left to go. Your top 5 is Glenn Hedrick, Scott Fenstermacher, Ramon Evans, Tony Fenn, and Dana Osborne. And of course, the first 3 guys out of the that have to go through the B main to make it into the A are Dana Osborne, Kevin Kelly, and Austin Carver. Carver is about 10.5 seconds behind the leader. He hasn't really been in this race since lap 2.
Ramon Evans now, his luck may have run out when Fenstermacher and Hedrick switched, which puts Hedrick to 2nd and Fenstermacher to the point because now Ramon Evans has dropped back and he can't get back up to them because they're pushing. He's still side by side with the 78 and the 8. The 8 of Dana Osborne having a little bit of issues keeping it on the back bumper of the 78 of Tony Fenn, but that 83 may lose the draft here. And that would basically leave it those top 4 cars, the 2 tandems, would be the transfer spots unless we wreck because it's the white flag last lap. Leaders are switching.
Yeah, they came over the radio talking about they're going to have to switch or Hedrick was going to blow up, but Fenstermacher's going to try to sneak right back up in there. But Tony Fenn, Dana Osborne are able to get right up under there and kind of push away that and get a little bit of, like the 8 car got a little loose, but Hedrick and Fenstermacher are tucking right between them. There's no reason to really race them right now because they are in the top 4. But why not go for it as we come out of turn 4 here on the last lap of Talladega?
Got Fenstermacher 78. Tony Fenn in the lead with Osborne pushing. They're going to ride in line. Hedrick trying to make a charge on the outside with the help of Fenstermacher. Side by side for 2nd, but it will be the 78 of Tony Fenn is going to get the win. Hedrick actually picks up that 2nd position. Osborne will finish 3rd. Fenstermacher will finish 4th, and those 4 drivers will advance to the trophy dash, and then Ramon Evans, Kevin Kelly, and Austin Carver will have to battle their way through in that tricky B main.
Yeah, we're currently waiting right now for we're going to pull drivers up from this heat race to talk to, and we're also waiting for results from the other 3 heat races, and we'll get that to y'all as soon as we can.
There's definitely 4 heat races again run simultaneously here at the same time for the Super Speedway Cup Series. Again, ssseries.com. Check them out every Friday nights here on ETV Live. So the top 4 drivers from all 4 heat races will go on to the Trophy Dash, which gives us about 16 cars in that Trophy Dash. Everybody else, they're going to have to battle their way through in that B main. And again, that B main is going to be tricky and maybe one of the most aggressive races we see all night. And with no cautions, you can't really afford to make any sort of error. But again, Heat Race 4 in the books. It will be Tony Fenn taking home the win, and we're going to see if we can talk to any drivers here shortly. And now on the radio, we do have your race winner, the number 78, Tony Fenn. You have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Great race there. Obviously a 10-lap shootout. Not a lot of time to get stuff going. You're going to win this and get yourself into the Trophy Dash battle for position in the A-Main. How was the race for you?
That was a really good race. Just able to take advantage of starting on the pole there. Had a good teammate and Dana there. Just able to take advantage.
And definitely, and nobody really did anything crazy at the finish line, obviously, because the top 4 transfer spots is really what you guys are all battling for. Do you think maybe you'll be able to hook up with your partner again in the A-Main if it all works out? Or?
Well, hopefully so. We work good together, and you got to have a good teammate if you want to do anything.
And definitely, again, 78, you're going to take that nice car, that Chevy, to victory lane. Who you want to thank for this win?
I got to thank Rod Flagg for putting on a good league, and got to thank ETV for broadcasting this.
Clint Monahan, I do believe you may have number 21 of Glenn Hedrick on the radio.
I do have Glenn Hedrick. Glenn, thank you for joining us. Tell me about your race.
Just trying to, stay out of a wreck. We had 7 cars there, so unfortunately one got left out, and we're just trying to time switching just right. And thanks Scott for hooking up with me, and we had to switch right there last lap. But I figured we had top 4 locked up, so it turned out all right.
Now, where's your ideal place to make a switch?
Usually just going into the turn. Right there's the best spot. I always try to swing up real high and then come back down real quick. That works best for me. Everybody does it a little different, so whatever works. And
that's Glenn Hedrick. He finished second. He'll be in the A-Main. Evan is with our third place finisher, Tony Fenn.
On radio, Dana Osborne, third place finisher. Well, Fenn's drafting partner. I mean, Dana Osborne in the number 8 on the radio. Dana, you're going to finish this race third. You stayed loyal to your drafting partner there at the end, pushed into the victory. You locked yourself into the Trophy Dash. Talk us through that. The race, obviously 10 laps, so it's real short.
Yeah, I thank everybody for racing this clean. Tony is a good friend of mine, and we had this kind of planned out for me to push him to the win. And I also have to thank you guys for doing what you do too, and Rod for putting on this league.
Emily, do you think you guys are going to be able to maybe hook up again when you go into that Trophy Dash, obviously battling for position for the A-Main?
That's our plan.
Well, good plan indeed. Who you want to throw a shout out to?
I throw it out to you guys, and I throw it out to Rod for putting on this league.
Well, the heat races are in the books. We're going to step away for a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for some Trophy Dash action here with the Super Speedway Cup Series Friday nights.
concerned where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
And welcome back to ETV Live's live coverage on this Friday Corn Dog and Corona night from the Talladega Super Speedway. It is the Super Speedway Cup Series, SSSeries.com. Race number 8 of 12 on the Season 4 schedule. Again, Evan Paselko in the booth with Clint Monahan. Clint, it's time for the Trophy Dash. And these are the top 4 finishers in all 4 heat races. They're going to duke it out. Everybody here is going to make it to the A main. It's all about starting position.
It's all about starting position, really. It's not much. I don't want to say it's a throwaway race, but these guys are they're gonna try. This is a race you try different strategies in, and really don't put as much effort in because you're not having to race your way into the A main. All these guys are already there, so they're gonna try new stuff and see what will work out for the A main.
Definitely, I'm sure they'd rather take a 4th place finish than race hard and wreck and finish around 16th position. And being the Trophy Dash, again, this has a completely separate point standing. So let's take a look at the Trophy Dash points. Victor Bartlett leading the points with 89. He has 1 win and 3 top 5s. Then we have Brandon Chaburko, 15 behind in 2nd. Joshua Hayner in 3rd, 22 back. Dale Smalley, 36 back in the 4th position. Rodney Wofford in that 5th spot is 38 back and tied, I guess, for 5th place with Dallas Marco, who's in 6th.
Yeah, they're tied for 5th. And 7th place, Josh Ball. 8th, Jason Altman's 9th. 44 points behind Terrence Donovan. And 10th, also 44 points behind, is Frank Basilia to 3rd.
And definitely we'll practice winding down all the drivers, trying to see what works and what doesn't. I'm taking a look through. We do have about 16 cars here. They're going around practice, trying to see maybe who they want to hook up with, drafting partners from previous races, and try to get the best race that they can here. Again, it's all about finishing position. So you mentioned not really a throwaway race, but in a sense you don't want to drive too hard. And just quickly want to explain how the field is set for this Trophy Dash racing, and it is 11 laps. And first through 4th position are the winners from the heat race. So winner of heat race 1 is 1st, winner of heat race 2 is 2nd, etc. And that continues through each increments of 4, for the 2nd place being 5th through 8th and on from there. And everyone's just practicing right now. Again, there's just under 3 minutes left in practice. Clint, we've got a lot more options to choose from. What kind of maybe dominant duo are you looking for? Who do you think may be real good in the bump draft here and work their way up?
Dominant duo. How about some guys I'm watching on my screen right now? That is the 13, the Jimmy Tolliver, and 73, Terrence Donovan. They run really well together. I'm looking for them to be up front tonight.
I just happen to be looking at them too.
Well, you stop copying me, Evan.
Hey, hate the game, not the player. Well, I'm going to say take a look for Brandon Chaburko in that 39, and he's got that last pit stall. Obviously, they're not really going to need that pit stall, and if they do, then it's pretty much a done race for them because there are no cautions, 12 laps, so 2 extra laps as in comparison to the heat races, but that's still a super speedway race, short track style with these sprints. And with under 2 minutes left to go, I'd say keep an eye on that 39, maybe hooking up with a 42, Chaburko and Bartlett. Those guys always seem to be very fast in the draft, and they just love this Talladega Super Speedway at 2.66 miles long, the longest track on the series. Obviously, they alternate between this and Daytona, and this is a heck of a lot wider than Daytona, so it makes 3 wide a little bit more comfortable.
Tonight's race on ETV Live is brought to you by the Rewind, BS, and Back Talk radio show. Cue up Toby Keith. You can join the Cowboy, JD Webb, and Jimmy North Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for an hour of Rewind, looking back at previous broadcast events, drama, and topics too hot to touch. The Cowboy ramps it up in the BS and Back Talk segment with thoughts and opinions on some of the hot topics in the online racing arena. It's an all-new show, fun and entertaining. Rewind, BS, and Back Talk, 9 p.m. Tuesdays, only on ETV Live Radio.
Well, I'll tell you about drama. If anybody here got to catch the double clutch USTRA race the other night here on ETV Live, if you haven't, check out the archives. That was a wicked race. And I don't know, maybe we'll see something crazy like that. These guys don't normally disappoint when it comes to those side-by-side finishes right now. Looking in warm-up, Jimmy Tolliver, Terrence Donovan, you talked about them, the 73 and the 13. They are faster than everybody else by 9/10 of a second, those two drafting together, so they obviously got something figured out. And they're definitely going to be looking for each other in this race.
We got about 10 seconds till we're gonna take the grid for the race here. Let's talk about this. How many wrecks do you think we're gonna get out of this trophy dash, Evan? Over under, we're gonna put it at 2.
I'll say maybe 1. I'm expecting 1. I don't think it'll be a big wreck. I think we'll have a couple cars, maybe Tangle doing a switch, but I don't think we're going to see a big wreck. But, I mean, anything's possible. We quadrupled the size of the field from the heat races, so let's take a look at our starting grid. Brandon Chaburko in that 39 starting on the pole. Victor Bartlett in the 42 starting second. Hey, those are the 2 guys that I mentioned.
That's right. If y'all have short memory, that is who you mentioned. Row 2 is Terrence Donovan, and to his outside in the 78 Chevrolet is Tony Fenn.
The number 7 of Rodney Wofford will roll off the grid in 5th position, and Glenn Hedrick in that 21 will start 6th. They make up row number 3.
Row 4 and the number 3 Snap-on number Earnhardt car is Donnie Giratano, and to his outside is Tyler McDonough.
Josh Hanner in the number 5 will roll off 9th, and rounding up the top 10, the only number 23, Rod Flagg.
11th and 12th is Dana Osborne and Jimmy Tolliver.
Hunter Bowles and Frank Busilia will roll off the grid 13th and 14th position.
Bringing up the last row is Matt Bontempi and Scott Fenstermacher. I'm not looking for them to finish it way back there, though.
Everyone's definitely going to be looking to work their way through the field, but it may be, dare I say, maybe this may be the most tame race of the night because all these guys are already locked in. They're really just going for a position, but hey, some guys might think, if I'm already locked in, I'm just going to go balls to the walls and go for it. So who knows what we can see from this race. Obviously, the lights on the pace car are off. We're going to do our 1 pace lap around this Talladega Super Speedway. Salute the fans and get going for this 12-lap trophy dash.
Yeah, this is a horridly slow pace lap here. And balls to the wall is always the way to go. Remember that as you get older, Evan.
42, Victor Bartlett, points leader, will be starting outside pole in that number 42 Pepsi Max looking Chevrolet. That's a bright car. You can't miss that one. You see 39 Chaburko heating up the tires. And let's see what kind of nicknames you can come up with these guys, because you always seem to be the one that comes up with these crazy nicknames.
You know, I've thought about some, and I'll wait. I already got your nickname, Evan Loco Pasoko, and I hope for that to stick.
That rhymes.
Me and the group of guys, everyone, we have been known to give drivers nicknames. Like, oh man, the best one was the Joel Putty, oh buddy thing. That's what almost got drivers out of DWC suspended.
Well, the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car just dove to the safety of pit road, and we're going to light these bad boys up for 12 laps at the Talladega Super Speedway. The field in the hands of the 39 of Brandon Chaburko. Terrence Donovan right on his bumper, getting ready to take the green flag. The green flag flies, and again, first and third position with the best start of anybody because the 73 already on that bumper. There they go, though. 39 is going to drop to the top. That's what I predicted. Chaburko and Bartlett are going to take up that tandem on the top, and that's going to leave Donovan almost by himself because the 7 of Rodney Wofford and the 3 of Donnie Garitano are hooked up on the bottom. Now the 7 of Wofford is going to suck up to the back bumper of Donovan. That's going to create the first 2 tandems up front. Chaburko out front, you see him and Bartlett running that top line there. They're going to pull in front of Donovan. That was almost a close call there. Going to single file things out. Rodney Wofford going to drop back a little bit off that bumper of the 73 Ford of Terrence Donovan. But this lap is going to be led by the pole sitter, Brandon Chaburko and Victor Bartlett in that 42. Watch those guys because that is a dangerous duo, and you don't want to see them out front pulling away from the field.
We got some 3 wide going around 8th position with Tyler McDonough, Rod Flag. Oh,
78.
yeah, we got guys
Tony
getting
Fenn.
loose.
Whoa!
That was incredible.
I could have
that's
sworn.
happening way too.
How
There's
did
still
he
3
not
wide.
wreck that? Holy cow!
Yeah, Evan, could you have held that? I don't think so.
No.
There were still 3 wide with Scott Fenstermark came all the way from 16th. Now he's balling up there for about 12th, 13th. He was in the middle 3 wide. We call that the Earnhardt sucker hole if you get a run there. That's another little nickname we got. I forgot to mention the other good nickname we had was for Tim Axton. That was Tough Actin' Tim Axton.
Well, up front, Chaburko now, still being pushed by Bartlett, Donovan, Wofford, the top 4. Garitano sitting in 5th. He's being pushed by Dana Osborne. That's the 3rd tandem. Then we have Josh Hanner being pushed by the number 13. And this is all going around, obviously, near the back of the field. They're all trying to work them way up. And Tolliver at the very back, if we take a look, 16th position. He's with Josh Hanner in that 5 and the 76 of Busilla. These guys trying not to lose the draft. I mean, they're 3 seconds back from the leader, so their only hope is each other at this point as they try to hang on for all it's worth.
Up front, we have a new leader. That's Terrence Donovan being pushed by Rodney Wofford, and on the outside is Victor Bartlett and Brandon Chaburko. They made a switch. Chaburko was your leader last lap. We're coming across the line of going through the trial. We're about to take lap 4 of 12.
Now you see Garitano in that 3 snap-on Earnhardt Chevrolet, as you call it there, being pushed by the 8 of Dana Osborne. They were taking a look to the inside of the number 39 of Brandon Chaburko. Chaburko is going to get back up to the bumper of Bartlett. Now they're going to put a line. 39 gets way loose off turn 2, and somehow he does not lose any speed, and he's still in line. Holy cow.
That's a big save by Brandon Chaburko. He's pretty good with a race car. And as we say that, you have Donnie Garitano and Dana Osborne looking a little high after Terrence Donovan and Rodney Wofford going to make their switch. Your new leader this time by will probably be Victor Bartlett being pushed by his drafted partner Brandon Chaburko. They might make another switch coming up in the next 2 or 3 laps, and your leader will once again be Brandon Chaburko. Meanwhile, though, your top 5 as we go across the line this time by is Victor Bartlett, Brandon Chaburko, Donnie Garitano, Dana Osborne, and Rodney Wofford.
We are getting reports that right now, 8th position, Glenn Hedrick in the 43 of Tyler McDonough in a 2-car tandem just hit 212 miles an hour.
Bill Elliott says that will not happen ever again, but I think it just did happen.
Looking right now in car with Glenn Hedrick in the 21 as he makes his swap with his teammate, the 43 McDonough, trying to catch back up with the field. Let's look back up with the field. However, it's now the 3, Donnie Garitano, to the lead in first position, still being pushed by Dana Osborne. That 8's been pushing that 3 for quite a while. Look for them to switch, and it looks like they're going to make it here in 1. Never mind, 3. Garitano's going to pull back in line in front of his drafting partner. And now the 39 of Chaburko and the 42 of Bartlett are trying to make something work on the top side.
Yeah, it's got a real nice battle up here at the front. Garitano on the inside, Chaburko on the outside, and Chaburko's got great help by his partner, Victor Bartlett. They're going to make a switch going into 3. Yeah, I guess that's a good time to make a switch, especially if you're on the outside. Why not? And they will still hold on to probably at least the top 6 through this, as there's a botch switch between Osborne and Garitano. That's going to make things real interesting, as they are not together, but Rodney Wofford is all over the bumper, Dana Osborne. Dana Osborne's nickname will be Dana 66. like the did you get that? You got it.
Well, the 21, Glenn Hedrick, all of a sudden up in the picture, he's being pushed by the 43, Tyler McDonough. They look to go 3 wide, possibly thought better of it right now. And I'm telling you, that 8 of Dana Osborne must be getting hot, because we've seen them try to switch a couple of times, and it hasn't really worked. I mean, the 8 hasn't really been on the back bumper of the 3 the entire time, so who knows, maybe they're keeping it cool enough. But right now they're not hooked up, and that will evidently drop that 3 back, because you see Hedrick and the 43 on that top side of McDonough. They're probably going to work their way around to take 3rd and 4th position if they don't get hooked up soon. And now the leaders are going to switch, Traburco and Bartlett again, and Hedrick and McDonough are going to switch as well.
We do have some 3 wide back there around 5th position, but that was only just for a split second as we had drivers making a switch, as McDonough almost gets into the rear end of Dana Osborne. Almost got into the into the Dana 66 axle of Osborne. Look at Giratano going high, looking high for some reason. He's probably trying to pick up Rodney Wofford, and they're both going to tuck back in. I guess Giratano's just out there gasping for air. We do have a car that is multiple laps down. That is Matt Bontempi. He is 3 laps down. Luckily, it's not a big deal because he is still in the A main, and it's also not a big deal for Hunter Bowles, who's also almost 8 seconds behind. They're drafting right now back there in 15th and 16th position.
Last car on the lead lap, 15th spot. Hunter Bowles 7.6 seconds off of the lead. And if you look at the lead again, Traburco out front at number 39. And they are in first place. We hear there is a wreck now.
Hunter
It's number
Bowles.
29, Hunter Bowles. We were just talking about him. He is wrecking on the front straightaway right at the line. And it's just a classic case. I just took a look at the replay here. Lap 8 in the tri-oval. He was just on that left rear quarter panel of the 20. And when he went to slide back up, I guess they didn't have that slip tape on that rear bumper, and it just hooked that 29 around, and with no cautions, going to add insult to injury from going 15th. He may even lose a couple more laps from that. Tough break for the 29 team as he continues to go around the racetrack with a damaged car.
About that, he nailed that cone coming out of pit road. If he stays on the track, though, he will finish 15th. He will finish 15th. Matt Bontempi is no longer in the race. He's parked his car, and of course we do have Donnie Giratano is still your leader, and right to their outside, though, coming quick is Victor Bartlett and Brendan Traburco. Victor Bartlett was barely edging out Giratano right now in turn 3. We do have less than 3 laps to go left here at Talladega.
Things are starting to heat up. I'll tell you, if you're that 8 or the 43, maybe the 39, you cannot see a thing when you're on the back bumper of that car in front of you. You're just following them, and you really have no control. You're just a victim of the draft, because we are side by side coming to take 2 laps to go this time by 8. Osborne needing some air, and that's going to allow the 42 to get up in front of Giratano. Now the 39 Traburco stuck on the high side. We've seen this before. Bartlett's going to go down there, maybe try to slow down that inside line and possibly hop back up with his partner. Looks like he's going to stay down there for now, and now the 43 of Tyler McDonough is going to push the 39, but now here comes the 42 again. He's just trying to slow down that inside line.
About a lap and a quarter left here at Talladega. Donnie Giratano is narrowly edging out Victor Bartlett right now for the lead, as 43 looks high to make it 3 wide. It was 3 wide for a split second. They'll probably tuck right back in behind Giratano, or behind Traburco. And your new leader this time by, with 1 lap to go here at Talladega, will be the 42 of Victor Bartlett, and his drafting partner right behind him in second place is Brendan Traburco.
Traburco not quite clear of Giratano this time by, as the white flag is in the air. And Giratano's going to get loose there on the bottom. He's still getting a shove from Osborne. You have no time to let up and get any air to your car. You're going to lose it for you and your partner. You see the 8 gasping for air, pushing water, trying to do anything he can. 42, 39 on the top. Here comes the 43 McDonough and Hedrick trying to make something work. They're going to break up now. Turns 3 and 4 going to come to the front straightaway for the final time. Giratano with the advantage off the corner. Here comes Hedrick through the middle, 3 wide. The 8 Osborne runs out. Hedrick to the bottom, spins Giratano. They're going to go around. 7's in it. And Victor Bartlett's going to take the win.
That was a ballsy move. I like that move by Glenn Hedrick. He was right below, and that's your racing deal right there. When Donnie Giratano went the block low, and of course Rodney Wofford had nowhere to go. He barely got clipped in his axle. We did have a driver go up and nail the wall. That might have been the 3-car again. But your top 5 though, is Victor Bartlett, Brandon Chaburko, Terrence Donovan, Glenn Hedrick, and Frank Busilia the third.
And that got real crazy off turn 4. I'm going to take a look at the replay here. The 8 must have blew up or something because he saw him gasping for air and he just pulled down out of the way. And Hedrick pulled in behind Giratano and he got a shove from the 7 of Wofford. And it looked like the 3 was protecting and the 21 went down. The 3 just tried to block, protecting his spot. 21 did not go below the yellow line. Yeah, some people could say he could have checked up, but hey, you're coming to the checkered line at Talladega. And 3 came down the block for that and took them both out. It collected the 7 and the 43 as well. So, I mean, the top 3 finishing cars actually finished going the right direction. Everybody else slid across, and you don't got to worry about it. Just bring the backup out for the A main that's coming up after the B main as well. So they're going to get prepped for that race.
This Trophy Dash was brought to you by ETV Live Radio. ETV Live Radio, supported by HD Radio Network, features classic rock every hour. Every day, you can also catch live events such as race day broadcasts right from the booth and listen to engaging talk shows every week. ETV Live Radio featured in the sports section of iTunes. Get the mobile app from tunein.com and look for us on the Windows Media Guide. ETV Live Radio, only on the HD Radio Network.
Well, now on the radio, I do believe we have our 3rd place finisher, the number 73 of Terrence Donovan. Do you have a copy? Terrence Donovan, this is Evan Soko and Clint Monahan in the booth. You got a copy? Well, as we try to work on that connection, let's just go right up to our 2nd place finisher, Brandon Chaburko, and the number 39. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're going to take this one home in the 2nd position. Now, it was a pretty crazy finish. They all wrecked on the inside of you, and it almost didn't really give you a shot to make any sort of a move, but obviously you and your partner, Victor Bartlett, such a dominant duo. Talk us through that race.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good race for us. We stayed up front the whole time, which is what we needed to get done to stay and avoid the wreck, and stayed up front and got it done there at the end. I started blinking on both gauges on the back stretch, so I'm really just thankful to get 2nd place and move on to the A main.
Definitely, let's talk about that A main. It's almost triple the length of this race, 30 laps, longest one of the night. You're going to be starting to obviously 1st and 2nd with your drafting partner. What's your plan going into that race? Obviously, it's a lot longer than these, so maybe it takes a little bit more patience.
Yeah, it definitely takes more patience and thinking about the big picture for sure. I'm really just looking to help Victor out in securing the championship because unfortunately about 70 points out. So just looking to help out my teammate.
And any shout-out you want to throw out there?
Everyone at ETV and all my teammates at Slingshot Motorsports.
And Clint, I think you may now have radio communications with the number 73 of Terrence Donovan.
Hopefully we do. Terrence Donovan, you there?
Hey.
Hey, 3rd. You got 3rd place in the Trophy Dash. Tell me about your race, Terrence.
Got shuffled back there and was stuck there for a while. I wasn't really expecting 3rd place, but it looks like there was a wreck up front, and I was able to get around it somehow.
What preparations are you making for the A main?
No, I don't know. I've had enough practice here. I'll just watch the B main and then hope to stay out of the wrecks in the A main.
And you got any shout-outs?
Hi to Maureen and Drew. Hi to the people watching. So, yeah, I hope I have a good race.
That's Terrence Donovan. He finished 3rd in the Trophy Dash.
And now I do believe we have caught up with Victor Bartlett in the 42 here. Your race winner, Victor. You're going to take it home. You'll be starting 1st in the A main. I guess that makes it a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah, it makes it easier. It makes it easier to get Brandon there with me. I don't know where the rest of my teammates are, but it definitely makes it easier when you're up front. As you can see right there, sometimes it's not always better to be up front because I was so scared that when I seen them turn sideways that they would come back up the track. But it was pretty good. I want to thank Brandon. If it wasn't for Brandon, I wouldn't be, winning the race. But hopefully tonight we'll be able to pull off something good. Hopefully we can get Brandon a little closer to 1st place in the championship.
Well, for the record, I did say you and the 39 are pretty good together before the race, just to throw that out there. And you guys are going to be starting 1-2 in that A main 30 laps. You're the points leader right now. What kind of mentality are you going to bring into that race?
I'm gonna try to keep it clean. Try not to stick my nose anywhere, definitely that it doesn't belong. And just try to ride it out. And if I'm there at the end, I will definitely try to get the victory.
And definitely any shout out you want to throw out there for this win?
My teammates at Slingshot Motorsports, as well as Rod for putting on this amazing league, and for everybody at ETV.
And is Victor Bartlett your Trophy Dash winner? We're going to step away again, take another quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back with some B main action here on ETV Live. And welcome back, everybody, to ETV Live's live coverage of the Super Speedway Cup Series Race 8 of 10 on this season 4 schedule. And Evan Pizzelko up here in the booth with Clint Monahan. Clint, we just saw the Trophy Dash. They wrecked it coming to the line. Well, these are the guys that are battling for all it's worth here to get into the A main. What are we going to see here in this 15-lap race? Having some issues with Clint Monahan's microphone. We'll get that fixed up real quick here up in the booth here. Talladega, lots of history, maybe just an electrical issue. We'll get that sorted out for you. But the car is currently in practice, less than a minute remaining. And this race also brought to you by the HD Radio Network, home of ETV Live Radio. The HD Radio Network gives you a variety of stations to choose from, including Big 80s Metal, HDR Classics, all HDR country, and more. Take your pick and rock your brains out, dude. The HD Radio Network stations are featured on iTunes Radio, TuneIn Radio, and also listed on the Windows Media Guide. Listen today from hdradionetwork.com or take it with you. Get the mobile app from tunein.com. Again, if you're listening to the broadcast on the ETV Live Radio after the broadcast is done, you'll be listening to that music after that. 20 seconds left in practice. Again, these are the guys that are battling for all it's worth. If you finish in the correct position, you're going to be in that A main, and that's pretty much what everybody is going to be going for here. Again, it is the B main. The top 8 finishers are going to buy their spot into the A main.
Yeah, it's going to be a real brawl. My favorite race is to always watch the race for 8th place. That's where the hardest racing is going on. And, well, normally it is, and it's semi-idiotic when you see hard racing going on in the top 6, especially on the last lap, and all they do is hold on to their positions, and they'll be in the A main.
Well, definitely. Well, time is running down here, and if we're going to take a look at our starting grid, we have 12 drivers and 8 spots, which means there's only going to be 4 guys going home disappointed tonight. But it's real easy to make a mistake in 15 laps and no cautions. Let's run through our starting order as the field grid's up behind the Ford. Mustang First Racing pace car. We have Mark Brown in the 06 going to be starting pole position, and Raymond Evans in the 83 is going to start outside pole in second spot.
Row 2 is 28 is Shane McEachin, and to his outside is Kevin Mort, newcomer.
Doug Moore in the 74 will roll off the grid in 5th position, and it will be in 6th position the number 34 to Peak Fusion of David Saunders.
Starting 7th is Daniel Holloway, and 8th is Kevin Kelly.
Austin Carver's going to roll off 9th in that number 18 Chevrolet, and Gary Tarvin will roll off 10th. They'll make up row number 5.
And on the last row, it's none other than Mr. HD Radio himself, Phil Foltz, and on his outside is 33 of Larry Kemp.
Well, the field works their way into turn number 1, Clint. Now we have your microphone issues fixed. They're going to go over this again. At the end of that trophy dash, we saw a wreck. I said we'd at least see one. I thought it would be small. I mean, it was a fairly large-sized wreck. Only 12 cars here. They're battling for 8 spots. Obviously, they're going to be going hard around that 8th position. Do you think we're going to be clean green all the way through?
We're going to see 2 wrecks. I think it'll be fabulous to watch.
Well, we do have J.D. Webb and then John Wesling down there in the production hall are pushing the buttons. John working on the cameras. So if there is...
JD's been awfully quiet tonight, too.
We'll get some great shots of it.
He has been in my ear as he normally is.
I'm still waiting for them to start with that blimp cam.
We better check on him.
Are they doing all right? They have their corn dogs and Coronas. It's Friday night, so they're doing all right down there. The Talladega infield, I'll tell you, classiest place in the world, right?
Oh, as someone who's been there, it is not, but I love it. It's like a mix of Walmart, Waffle House, and a Kmart if you go in after 8 o'clock at night.
Oh. Well, the field is doubled up again. We have 12 drivers that are going to be battling for 8 transfer spots. One of the best things about this league, I just like looking at all these different paint schemes that these guys have painted up on their cars.
Oh, okay.
He's
JD's
alive.
our engineer. He speaks.
Took him a while, but JD the engineer.
Welcome back, JD.
How you doing?
Welcome back, cowboy. Should have been a cowboy. Oh, Evan Pace car's in. Did you know that? Mark Brown is ready to start this race. Yeah.
The 06 is going to lead the field to green. 62. Kevin Mort on the bumper of the 83. We're waiting. The green flag flies again. That start-finish line not in the Trivals Daytona. The green flag is out again. Mark Brown is going to go to the green. Shane McEachin.
Kevin Mort bringing back the early 2000s, late 90s with his Outcast car, number 62. I love it. Because they're also from Atlanta. I saw Big Boy at a Braves game and he was drunk. Anyway, Kevin Mort's right on the bumper. Ramon Evans, they're trying to get back up there to try to sneak in front of Doug Moore in his Coke car, who's all by himself right now with no drafting partner. If you look to his outside, who started 6th, David Saunders is also all alone in his peak antifreeze Ford Fusion, looking for a drafting partner.
We were side by side for second position. Now Raymond Evans and the 62 car, Kevin Mort, going to pull back in line. Maybe they're running a little bit of a different line as your leaders. We're going to come by to complete lap 1. And the 28 now, Shane McEachin is going to drop off the bumper of Mark Brown by a lot. Something goes wrong there on the exit of the tri-oval, and now they're going to drop back a lot. And now it looks like it's going to be easy for Ramon Evans and the 62 Kevin Mort to pull by them on the top side. I don't know what happened there, but that 28 just lost a handful of spots real quick.
Yeah, it's a real interesting turn of events right there. But that makes it all right for a bunch of other guys, though, like Ramon Evans, who's now in the lead with Kevin Mort, Mr. Outcast himself, all over the back bumper, pushing him. Right behind them is Doug Moore being drafting with Daniel Holloway, and we do have some people running into each other, looks like, around the 6th, 7th, and 8th position. And, of course, that is the area around the 8th is the last transfer spot. And that's where things are going to be really interesting tonight in this B main.
For you guys that can see the A main slipping away quickly are Larry Camp, Phil Foltz, and the number 32 as well, all back there hanging on for dear life, rather. Gary Tarvin, Phil Foltz, Kevin Kelly they're seeing those top drivers start to pull away a little bit. Phil Foltz is going to get on the back bumper of Kevin Kelly, 10th and 9th spot. They're going to try to hang on. And the 30, Dave Saunders, in that peak antifreeze Ford Fusion you mentioned, he had a good starting position, 6th place. Well, he does not have a partner, so he's dropped to the back now. He is now the last transfer spot as we run right now.
I know that wasn't a yawn coming out of you, so I'll ignore what I just heard. Your leader is still Ramon Evans, and him and Kevin Mort looks like they're about to make their switch. Kevin Mort down on the inside. That's taking way too long for this switch. That's not good. Now Mark Brown and Shane McKeachin and Austin Carver able to get right back on them as they finally complete their switch about a third way down the back straightaway. That's way too long, and that will not. You cannot do that if you want to have a successful race, because it also gives time for Doug Moore and the 26 of Daniel Holloway. They caught right back up. They're up there in the back there in the top 6, and really all of our top 8 transfer positions are within half a second of each other. Actually, the top 12 are almost, or the top 11 are almost within half a second of each other. So we have a great race so far here.
Yeah, let's take a look at that 12th spot. The number 33, Larry Camp, falling off the pace. Obviously now 3.2 seconds off of the leader. Or now 4.6 actually when the scoring updates. He has no draft, so he really stands no chance unless there's an incident where it occurs. So his MRN Chevrolet, the number 33, not what he wanted to see. But hey, it's a super speedway. Don't count yourself out. You don't even need to have your whole race car across the finish line. We've seen with these guys getting over, spinning across the line. Well, 3 wide right now for 3rd spot, real close to 26 car. Daniel Holloway is going to go up. He's going to make contact.
Oh, we got contact.
74 into the wall, a barrel roll. That's going to collect the 32 car. The 32, Kevin Kelly, is going to save it. And, well, there's one wreck. I don't know what was going on there. Miscommunication.
Lap 5.
But just turned him into the wall.
Yeah, Doug Moore was upside down. I was... see, you can go 3 wide here, but when you have... Sometimes it's hard for people to hold their position, and that's when you have the contact, which could have been avoided. Easily avoidable contact right there. But how about Kevin Kelly with a great save after having contact with Phil Foltz while they're trying to avoid that wreck. But that will put Doug Moore out of this race. He will not make it today in Maine. You lose, you go home. Sorry, Doug Moore, you win nothing tonight.
Well, hey, what if everybody else wrecks? He can pedal his way to the finish line. Who knows? But hey, taking a look at the replay, you could say that went both ways. Someone could say Doug Moore, he was a little bit high for maybe running the middle line if he was 3 wide, 26. It could have been a little bit higher, just a racing deal. Doug Moore is now going to pull it off. Daniel Holloway obviously apologizing for the incident. Tough break for those guys. And if we're going to look right now, take a quick update on our scoring. The top 6 drivers or the top 5 drivers now all together within 0.3 of a second, but that's going to leave the odd man out being Shane McKeachin. So if Shane McKeachin drops back, he could possibly drop out of the top 8 eventually. 8th place right now, Kevin Kelly being pushed by Phil Foltz in 9th. So if it continues to run the way it is, that'll be a 2-car battle for the final transfer spot.
That's right, and we did have a switch up front. New leader is Andre 3000 in that 62 car. He and Ramon Evans just made their switch. 3rd place right now is Mark Brown in 06. He has no drafting partner, so it looks like Austin Carver and Shane McKeachin might make their way around him within the next half lap to a lap. Right now, though, your top 8 that would make it into the race are Kevin Mort, Ramon Evans, Mark Brown, Austin Carver, Shane McKeachin, David Saunders, Gary Tarvin, and Kevin Kelly. We do have 7 laps to go.
Continuing to run. It'll be interesting to see how tough these guys up in the top 5 battle each other for this position, because right now they're locked in. If they mess up, they could be right there at the back and they'll be on the outside looking in. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes again. Still the 62, Kevin Mort in the lead, being pushed by the 83 of Ramon Evans. Now there's a run on the top side for the 18 of Austin Carver with help from Shane McKeachin. 62 gets loose, drops down to that yellow line. That tri-oval still is a pretty intense banking, so to speak. It's almost as steep as some of the 1.5 mile tracks that NASCAR runs, so that's still pretty much a turn. You got to watch that yellow line.
And check out our gyro cam, our use of the gyro cam on Shane McKeachin. He is pushing the 18 of Austin Carver. You get a good idea of the banking here at Talladega. I've experienced it firsthand just on the front stretch from doing tours, and it is absolutely hilarious watching people try to walk up the embankment in the corners because it's impossible. And a funny story, I know I did tours with a guy whose uncle was the builder of the track, and when they first built the track, he saw all the banking, and he's like, "Yo, Uncle Randy, is this where all the seats are going to be?" He's like, "No, that's the track." and so what he did was one day he slid down the hill on accident all the way in turn 4. He fell down the hill and he couldn't get back up the hill because of the huge banking. He had to walk 1.5 miles all the way around to get back to the entrance of the site where they had the main job site is to get back to his uncle. And he said that took way too long, and he always listened to his uncle after that.
Well, I'll tell you, I went up on the banking at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and that's really not a lot when you think of it, and I thought that was still pretty steep, so I can only imagine going up this Talladega. It's like, what, 33 degrees, something around there, 4 stories tall. That's some crazy stuff. Shane McKeechin now up front with help from Austin Carver. They're sitting 1-2 right now as the 83 and the 06 have made a switch, so they're going to try to work their way back up again. They are sitting in 3rd and 4th position as we run right now. 8th spot, Phil Fultz. Well, he is bump drafting with Kevin Kelly, and it'll be interesting to see how this works because that is a bump draft tandem, tango, whatever you want to call it. 2 cars all battling for whoever wins out of those 2 is going to be the last transfer spot. So let's watch these guys. Keep an eye on them as the laps continue to wind down right now as we come to take lap 12, about 4 laps to go next time by or so.
It's going to be 4 laps to go, and that's...
Oh, 28.
It's going to be my favorite thing to watch. 28. He got a little loose, ended up on the apron. It looks like he's going to be able to save it, though. Keep it in the top 4, top 5. He won't lose much. Another big loser that was Austin Carver, though. He goes from 1st to 3rd. I'm not sure, was that a botch switch?
It just looked like he maybe got loose, but they almost wrecked when the 28 came back up. Someone's like, watch out, 4 wide. That was close now, and you see Carver's going to drop back to get with his partner. I mean, they didn't lose a lot of time considering the circumstances as laps continue to wind down.
Coming up through the tri-oval to take 3 laps to go, 3 laps to go here. Your leader is Austin Carver in that number 18 car. Shane McKeechin right behind him, followed by, your leader is Mark Brown. I don't know where I was getting that from. Mark Brown, Ramon Evans, Austin Carver, Shane McKeechin, Gary Tarvin are your top 5, and of course your transfer spot is still a nice battle we got going on back there in 8th between Phil Fultz and Kevin Kelly. There's a lot of weaving going on trying to block. Phil Fultz tried and he wasn't able to, and Kevin Kelly will take that position, but the slow car, they're coming up on Kevin Mort, who might have damage. They're both going to get around him, and they will both now be in 7th and 8th position. And Kevin Mort is your odd man out right now.
That can make it a lot easier for that 32 and 71, but looks like Kevin Mort's hanging in. We got real close to Phil Fultz there. I don't think he's damaged. Maybe he just doesn't have a drafting partner. Now we have 3 guys battling for 2 transfer spots as we take 2 laps to go. So as soon as we check out these leaders, we're gonna have to hop right back to this battle to see how that finishes out as laps wind down. But we'll wait for the last lap to check those guys out again. Let's take a look back up front. 06 Mark Brown still being pushed by Ramon Evans, Austin Carver, Shane McKeechin. Look at this. They nearly wrecked it just over a lap ago, and they're already drafting their way back up as the leaders switch now in turn 3, the final switch for them. 06 is going to be pushing 83 to the finish. Here comes the 28 now. Shane McKeechin and Austin Carver now to the point on the bottom. They're going to regain 1st and 2nd as we come this time by to take the white flag.
They're hauling coming into the tri-oval. That will be your new 1st, 2nd place drivers in the standings right now. It's Shane McKeechin, Austin Carver. 3rd and 4th is Ramon Evans and Mark Brown. Right now, top 5 is David Saunders. But let's go back to the battle for 8th. Phil Fultz solo to bumper. Kevin Kelly, Kevin's in 7th. Fultz is in 8th. And Kevin Mort is looking like the odd man out ever so as we speak. He goes out of turn 2. He is about 8 car lengths behind Phil Fultz. And barring a miracle, Kevin Mort will be your odd man out, along with Larry Camp, who is out of the race. Daniel Holloway and Doug Moore, who are also out of the race after Doug Moore was involved in that first wreck where he flipped that number 74 Diet Coke Chevrolet.
Off turn 4 into the trial. Now the 18, Austin Carver to the bottom. The 83 to the top. 06 is going to spin, collecting the 33. 3 wide at the stripe. Who's it going to be? The 28, Shane McKeechin, Ramon Evans. According to the scoring, it is a dead tie. 3 wide. What a finish. Wow.
Who determines that?
I mean, it says it's a dead tie. I'm taking a look at this. I would not doubt it because I'm looking at this.
Wow, yeah.
I thought the 83 might have gotten that, and we said these guys don't disappoint. You guys need to check this finish out right now. Holy cow. What a finish. 83 couldn't get it done. The 18 Carver dove to the bottom. I mean, that's still a close finish by any circumstances for him, but he was so far back. These guys literally tied for the lead according to the scoring loop on iRacing. What a finish.
And that makes things real interesting because David saw the black flag and sent to the back. And he did. He's no longer. He's going to get 9th. Mark Brown got sent to the back too, but he'll get 8th. Mark Brown will be your last car. Kevin Mort.
He's going to get in. Miracle. That's a good break for him. You said
Andre 3000 got his miracle, and he got it. Kevin Mort's going to finish 7th.
I still can't believe this finish. I'm looking at it. I mean, I think I do remember doing a broadcast where the distance was 1/1000th of a second. And, I mean, in racing, we even if we say 3/10, we think that's a lot. That's really not a lot. And this finish was so close that the scoring legitimately says it's a tie, but in the end, it's Shane McKeechin taking home the win in that 28 Husky Chevrolet. Wow.
It's going to be real tough for them to match this in the A-Main, because that was a hell of a finish.
A standard. I guess they could do it 4 wide.
Yeah, the A-Main drivers are on notice now.
I mean, they could do 4 wide Indy Lights, but... Once again, I'll go through the top 8, the transfer spots from this race after some black flags were handed out here at the end. It's Shane McKeechin in first, Ramon Evans second, Austin Carver third, Gary Tarvin fourth, Kevin Kelly fifth, Phil Foltz, H2 Radio Network, 6th position. Kevin Mort's going to get that miracle finish in 7th position. Mark Brown, 8th. And David Saunders, the unlucky man of that duo, is going to finish 9th. He'll miss it by 1 spot. Larry Camp, 10th. Daniel Holloway in 11th. And Doug Moore in last place. Now, I do believe that Clint Monahan is on the radio with our 2nd place finisher, Ramon Evans.
Ramon Evans, congratulations on your finish. Tell me about your race. You got a copy. He's not in the song in my ear. Austin Carver. Do you have a copy? You finished 3rd. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy, man.
Tell me about your race, Austin.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was an exciting finish. That's probably one of my most exciting finishes I've been a part of as a driver. So, pretty much got left out to dry in the heat race, and I knew if I can hook up my buddy Shane here, we could get it to the front. So took us a little bit to get hooked at the first of it, but we knew we had a long race, and once we hooked up, we got to the front pretty easy there, and there at the end, we're going to try to stay together, and I knew his only shot to get the win was to go up and try to break their momentum a little bit. So he went up, and I'll gladly take 3rd and him getting the win and getting on to that A-Main.
Now, like me, y'all are both from Georgia. What is that? What brought y'all together as to work together as teammates?
Yeah, pretty much. I was racing with him one day, and sounded like a pretty respectful guy, and went from there, added him as a friend, and got to know him, and he's actually driving my old steering wheel, so I take full credit for that win. But he's a good friend. Keeping close contact with him during the week, and when we can get together and run, man, we take full advantage of it.
That's Austin Carver. He finished 3rd tonight. Evan is with Shane McKeechin.
Well, Shane McKeechin is going to win by a margin of 0.000 in that number 28 Husky Chevrolet. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, it was a good race. We weren't sure what we were going to do at the start. We were kind of separated, and there was a big gap there. And I know Austin got left out in his heat race, and looked like it was headed that way for the B main. So I tried to pick him up, and it worked out good for both of us.
Now you're going to get yourself into that A main, which is what everybody wanted. What's your strategy going into there? 30 laps, the longest race of the night.
Looks like maybe the the dice fell right. Me and Carver should be starting. He should be starting behind me. We're going to try to push our way back up and have a better finish than we did last week.
And I got to ask you, tell us about that finish. Were you looking, do you think you got it? Do you think you might have gotten beaten? That was 3 wide at the line. It was crazy.
Well, I knew Ramon had a run coming up, and I may have waited a little too late to go up for the block, but I made sure I wasn't going to cause an accident, and I figured if me or Austin get it, I'd be happy with that, and it ended up being a lot closer than I thought. I didn't know Ramon was that it was that close of a finish. I saw it was all zeros. It don't get any closer than that.
Well, you're on the right side of that. You're going to take home the win. Good luck in the A-main. So we're going to step away, take another commercial break. When we come back, it's time for the big show of the night, the A-main here with the Super Speedway Cup Series on ATV Live. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Corn Dog and Corona Friday night.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50 caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products, reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com, and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy. Plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
welcome back to the Talladega Super Speedway. Again, it's the Super Speedway Cup Series race 8 of 10 on Season 4. Corndog and Corona Friday night here, live on ETV Live. Again, Evan Pasoko up in the booth. Clint Monahan joining me. Clint, we just saw a wicked finish. It's time for the big race in the night. 30 laps in the A main, the biggest field we've seen. What are you expecting?
You know, I think it's going to be hard to match what we saw in the B main, but I'm going to put the pressure on them right now, and I'm saying they better give me a good race or else I will shame them all publicly. No, I'm just kidding. They'll give us a good race. I won't have to shame them.
Always great finishes, and you just saw that at near tie, 3 wide at the line. Heck, with more cars, maybe we can go 4 wide. Who knows? As time continues to wind down in practice. Again, tonight is brought to you by Inside Sim Racing TV, sponsoring the Thursday night Real Sim Racing series. Clint knows something about that. Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all the news and reviews in online motorsports. Join Darren Ganji and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation auto racing games for PCs and the Xbox crowd. From steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more, the Yellow Pages of online auto racing Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at www.isrtv.com.
I do know something about that.
Thursday
nights are a pretty big brawl in there last night. I had other things to do, like drink beer, which I could have done, but what I did was way better. You'll understand as you get older, Evan.
Alright, we'll go with that. Anyways, again, still under warm-up here, our biggest field of the night. We got a whole mess of drivers, a herd of them, over 20 cars it looks like are here getting ready to go, obviously going out doing any last-second adjustments, trying to find their partners that they may have been oh so dearly separated from in their heat races. Clint, I'm going to put you on the spot. Give me the top 3 for this race.
Ooh. That's really tough to do. I'll give you top 3. I'll even give it to you in order.
Ooh.
3rd place, Josh Hanner. 2nd place, Brendan Chaburko. And 1st place. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Donnie Giordano.
The number 3 car. I'm gonna stick with my 2 guys. I'm telling you, they're real good in the draft. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Victor and Bartlett for the win, or Bartlett and Chaburko, not Victor and Bartlett. That's the same person. Brandon Chaburko in the 39, Victor Bartlett in the 42 at the end, and let's throw the number 20 of Bon Tempe up in there too for the 3rd place finish. But as we're getting ready to go green, let's now send it down trackside for the national anthem performed by the Cactus Cuties.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And as the cars are on the grid, thank you again to the Cactus Cuties and the Virtual Thunderbirds. Now let's send it down for the most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Victor Bartlett in the 42 is going to take it off the grid. Number 1 as your pole sitter. And outside pole is drafting partner is number 39, Brandon Chaburko.
Row 2 has Terrence Donovan and Glenn Hedrick.
Row 3 will be the 76 of Frank Busilia and the 23 of Rod Flagg.
Row 4 has Rodney Wofford and Scott Fenstermacher.
The number 43, Tyler McDonough, is going to start row number 5 on the inside, and number 3, Donna Giratano, 10th.
11th is Dana Osborne, and to his outside starting 12th is Jimmy Tolliver.
Tony Fenn's going to roll off lucky number 13th position, and his number 78, and Josh Hanner starting 14th.
15th is Hunter Bowles, 16th is Matt Bontempi.
Dane McEachin's going to roll off 17th, and 18th is Ramon Evans.
Austin Carver and Gary Tarvin bring up the row right behind them.
Kevin Kelly and Phil Bolt's going to make up positions 21 and 22.
And the last row has Mr. Andre 3000 himself, Kevin Mort, and to his outside is Mark Brown.
Well, I'll tell you, the drivers are making plans for this race. Phil Folt says he wants to go fast, and Gary Tarvin says he wants to go faster than him, fast times fast. So we'll see how this thing shakes out here. 30 laps, no caution. The only man up there in the flag stand, you know, this guy is a green, a white, and a checker. No yellow flags tonight, so you might want to keep your nose clean. 30 laps, longest race of the night. Let's see how this thing shakes out.
Yeah, we're giving the flag man a case of beer after he drops the green flag, and he's gonna go out in the stands and he's gonna enjoy the race. And I'm gonna join him.
I think we got the best seat in the house up here in the box.
Evan, you know, this is corn dogs and Coronas, and
I'll take the
I
corn
got my
dogs.
beer ready. If you heard that.
Well, the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car is going to dive to the safety of pit road. We've seen that the first and third place cars have had the best start. Let's see, because the field is in the hands of the 42 of Victor Bartlett. They work their way through the trial again. You got to go 100 more meters down to that start-finish line here at Talladega. The green flag will fly, and they're side by side at the line. It's going to be the 39. Chaburko is actually going to lead at the start-finish line. Let's see if Chaburko and Bartlett get hooked up here.
At the start of this 30-lap race, we are 2 wide, 3 rows back, and right behind them, around the number 7 car, Rodney Wofford. They're going a little bit single file, but everybody's still trying to figure out who they're going to draft with, who they're going to get behind. And right now we have nobody that's falling behind except for Kevin Mort. He's Andre 3000 drop back. Maybe he's going to try to avoid the wrecks a little bit, then come blaring through the field. But it's a little different though, because you do have to have your drafting partner. And I can't wait till we go back to pack racing.
Two-car tandem is so prominent, even in these Gen 6 cars on iRacing still, so to speak, have more of a COT aero package. They're a little bit different, but you still can hook up to that bent bumper, and the two-car tandem is the fastest way around the racetrack. It looks like the 42 now, Victor Bartlett, he actually led that lap, back on the inside with help from the 73 of Terrence Donovan. We're going to come off the corner here. Now the 42 is going to be able to hook up with the 39, that dominant duo. They're going to hook up on the outside, which kind of leaves the 21 of Glenn Hedrick out to dry. He's trying to look to get into the inside. He's not going to be able to do it, and he may drop back here on the top now.
Might have some problems with Matt Bontempi. He's all the way back in 24th, almost 5 seconds behind the leader. He's all alone, and that's not a very good start off to the race for Bontempi. But out front, your leader is still Victor Bartlett. Brandon Chaburko right behind him. That's second place. Terrence Donovan third. And fourth is Frank Basili, who snuck in there. Fifth, Rodney Wofford. Sixth, Tyler McDonough. Seventh, Glenn Hedrick. Eighth, Rod Flagg. Ninth, Dana Osborne. And 10th, Scott Fenstermacher.
Victor and Bartlett in that 42. Victor Bartlett up front right now. Brandon Chaburko pushing him, that top tandem. Then you have Terrence Donovan in third place. Not hooked up right now. It looks like those are two Fords. He wants to get hooked up with Frank Busilia right now in the 4th spot. Now here comes Hendrick. Check this out.
Whoa, we got a wreck.
3-0. Into the wall. Is nobody else involved? He's going to hold it into the wall. I have no idea what happened. But a good job of Rod Flag from keeping that out of the field. He just turned right into the wall.
Rod Flag's got some heavy right side damage. This is top speed right now at about 188. Got in back of him. I don't know.
Whoa. He just got pinballed. I mean,
yeah.
Again, we saw another incident like that. He just got a little bit. It looks like he tried to come back up. If you watch real slow, tried to come back up on the bumper of the 21 and got loose. We saw that happen to another car. I think it was in the trophy dash, and that's just the way it goes. And he smacked that outside wall tough, and great driving with that damaged car to not come spinning down in front of the field and wreck it. Also, good job at that 23 to minimize that incident.
Yeah, that could have been the wreck. Could have taken out over half the field, as we saw last week. Yeah, last week was hilarious. If I had to describe it, it was, I think, a 17-car wreck. That was incredible. Never seen anything like it. But now up front, top 5 is Brandon Chaburko, Victor Bartlett, Terrence Donovan, Frank Basilia to 3rd. And 5th position is Tyler McDonough. We are on lap 5. We do have 26 laps to go.
You mentioned it there. 39 to 42 are going to make a switch into turn 3. Let's see how they can negotiate this. The 42 is going to have to come up to Chaburko. He's going to make that there. Now let's see the 43 car. Tyler McDonough is going to get to the rear end of that 39. He's been drafting with the 21 of Hedrick. 39-42 having a little bit of issues getting hooked back up. Maybe the 43 had something to do with that. And now you take a look. Rodney Wofford got real loose there on the bottom. He doesn't really have a partner. 76 and 73 are hooked up. 7's just trying to tag along. Who knows? It could be the 7 and the 76, and the 73 is trying to hang on. Who knows? But 3 cars there on the inside line trying to make it work together right now.
New leader last time by was guy I think will win this race. That was Terrence Donovan, and as I said, and they're going to take up first and second, but not so fast as Donovan has pretty good help from Frank Basilia to 3rd. They're both driving Ford Fusions.
The Chevy's on the high side and the Ford's on the bottom. The manufacturer battle. Stand up and scream for which kind of manufacturer you're rooting for.
Oh, you'll have that at Talladega.
Definitely leaders again, making another switch with that 43 or 42 and 39, trying to keep their engines nice and cool. That way they can maybe push a little bit longer at the end. And that one worked a lot better. They're going to maintain first and second position for now as Busilia gets back up to the bumper of Donovan there on the bottom. Again, lap 7 right now at a 30.
Yeah, got a couple guys making their way up front now. Hunter Bowles and the 5-car Josh Hanner. They're coming up pretty quickly. They made their way into the top 10 now after their starting position back around 14th. Rodney Wofford, I apologize, yeah. Hanner started back there, and Hunter Bowles started right behind him. Now they're up to about 6th and... Yeah, 6th and 4th. So look at them. They are the hard chargers so far in this race. Here on lap 8 of 30 at Talladega Super Speedway.
Yeah, lap 8, Hanner's picked up 8 spots since the beginning of the race. He definitely has a fast pony underneath him. He's drafting with Hunter Bowles in the 29. Hunter Bowles started back in 15th also. So these guys have worked essentially together to get up. You see the leaders still shuffling around now. It's the 42. Bartlett to the point. Another switch for the leaders. They're switching very often here. Everybody else in that inside line just kind of riding in line. I mean, the 73, Terrence Donovan's there. His drafting partner, Busilia's got to get back up to him. And with all this switching that's gone up front, we were spreading out. It's starting to create a little bit more of a two-lane pack kind of going on right now.
Yeah, that's going to make things real interesting. We can keep it this way towards the end of the race. You know, these switches aren't really a bad thing going on right now for up front because Bartlett and Chaburko have switches. They have them down pretty well, and you know, most people, the more switches you make, the more opportunity you have. So it's beneficial to them that they know how to switch well, and they don't have to worry about blowing up their cars.
You said it there, Bartlett, Chaburko up front, and they always seem to work together. Now we're side by side for third place. Again, Donovan still does not have the help of Busilia. Busilia is actually taken off now with Josh Hanner in the 5 car. They're going to move up now into the 3rd and 4th positions as our leaders make another switch. So make the running order now 39, 42, 5, and 76 now the top 4 as Busilia and Hanner slide back down into that bottom lane.
Top 5 right now with little over 20 laps to go is Victor Bartlett, Brandon Chaburko, Josh Hanner, Terrence Donovan, and Frank Basilia. They're coming out of turn 4 right now. Your leader, Brandon Chaburko is your leader. Brandon Chaburko and Bartlett just made their switch. They're coming across the start finish line. We're going to have 20 to go this time by. And Evan, you see anything going on in the back right now?
Taking a look, we are 2 wide actually. Or 3 wide there for a minute as there was a switch going on for 19th spot. These guys are all just trying to get going to find their way back to the front. Another quick note, Glenn Hedrick right now being shown 9th position. He's back there again with his drafting partner, the 43 of Tyler McDonough. They're going to make a switch. They're going to make a switch here in turn number 3. These guys were up there in the top 5. They've kind of caught back up to this group here. It seems like we're seeing these guys kind of group into a pack and then spread out a little bit. It all depends on when people switch and make their exchanges to keep those engines cool. So a lot of shuffling still. We have passed the 1/3 mark of this race.
New leader now is Victor Bartlett, but he's got a nice little battle going on with Frank Basilia, the 3rd. And Frank's being pushed by Josh Hanner. He's got a pretty similar looking car to Victor Bartlett. They're both running that Pepsi Max scheme with just some different colors. Logo placement is really about the same, which is a little weird. And as I say that, Chaburko and Bartlett are going to make their switch along with Josh Hanner and Frank Basilia. It's going to be an interesting time to make a switch as Terrence Donovan and Rodney Wofford waiting for Hanner to move back up. Donovan's going to stay low. We do have a battle for the lead now. Donovan on the low side, Hanner on the outside. Terrence Donovan will lead lap 13.
And now all of a sudden, the 43, Tyler McDonough looking back in the picture. And somehow, 39, Brandon Chaburko, Victor Bartlett, the 42, they have now been shuffled back to the 7th and 8th position after leading a majority of the laps. Just depends on when you switch and where the traffic is how it works out. So they are riding in line. That is a long bottom lane. Nice. They're very tightly packed together. Nearly contact with the 29. Hunter Bowles nearly clipped the 39 maybe. Again, lots of cars down the bottom. If you're in the middle of that, all you can really do is just ride at this point. Is now the 43-21 going to step out, try to make something work on the top.
That's where we do have real interesting racing going on right now. It's for the right around the middle of the pack, around 9th and 10th, through 9th through 12th. As these guys are all they do not keep the same position each lap by, as they're all maneuvering their way, trying to make it up front, trying to get single file, but then we've got guys making a pass. We do have a new leader, that is Josh Hanner, and with Frank Basilia right on his rear end. Yeah, how about that? Look at Tyler McDonough being pushed by Glenn Hedrick. McDonough's going to come to the lead right now, and right behind them, making their comeback, is Victor Bartlett and Brandon Chaburko.
I mean, that 43 and 21 were 5th and 6th in line, and I said they stepped out, and I was doubting that. And I mean, they just pushed themselves up, created that top lane, and are now sitting with that 43 is going to possibly lose this lap. 5 gets loose on the bumper of Busilia. Hedrick with a little bit of a wobble in that 21. And the 5 is going to lose Busilia. And there you go, 43 and the 21. To the point. 43 is going to pull down. Is there room for Hedrick, though, with the 5 of Hanner there? He can't get down. Now the 21 is going to get pushed by the 42, and that's going to break up their draft. So Hedrick's going to have to drop in front of him right there.
Interesting turn of events right there. Let's whoa, there we go. We had some contact between McDonough and Victor Bartlett. McDonough went a little high, tagged him a little bit. Bartlett was able to hold on to it, and him and Chaburko get back together. McDonough's gonna get on the bumper of Glenn Hedrick. So we do have a little bit of mix-ups going on with drafting partners right now. Josh Hanner has a little bit of a partner, I guess, in Frank Basilia, but he's gonna tuck right back in front of Victor Bartlett. as Basila goes back with his teammate Terrence Donovan.
Laps starting to wind down. 15 laps to go as it stands right now. Glenn Hedrick and Tyler McDonough, I'll tell you, those guys are on a mission because they are super fast when they are working together. And you can see they've opened up a little bit of a gap on everybody else, but I mean, the guys chasing them down, Bartlett and Chaburko, sure know what they're doing, so it'll be a good race between those two groups to see how that works. But for now, 21-43 up front all by themselves, but it looks like the 42 and the 39, no, they were closing, but they're going to get separated off of turn number 4, and that's only going to help the 21-43 up front as we're side by side for third.
Leader still Glenn Hedrick being pushed by Tyler McDonough, but your new third place is Josh Henner. He's going to go high, get what looks like trying to make a switch maybe, or not. Yep, they make the switch. Brandon Chaburko and I apologize, the 42 Victor Bartlett are going to go down low, and they're catching the first, second real quick. There's about a 3-mile-an-hour difference. They're going to go high. Whoa. They will take over first and second probably as we go
like
into
the
turn
leader
3.
Switched, yeah. Hedrick led last time by. They lost a lot of speed, and all of a sudden now we're in a big pack again up front.
I love big packs, Evan. That almost sounded bad, but big packs of big tracks.
As long as it's packs on packs.
Oh yeah.
Side by side, still up front. Hedrick with a little bit of a bobble there. That almost got close. It was McDonough who led that lap, but look at this on the high side trying to make it work. Brandon Chaburko not letting go with the 42 of Bartlett in tow. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway. We're positions 5, 6, and 7 now single file. Now Basilia Hanner are going to separate themselves, so they are 5th and 6th position. So those are the top 3 tandems right now. And Chaburko and Bartlett, they are switching a lot, which it's going to help, I think, in the long run because they're going to be a lot cooler when it comes down to the end of this race, and they can switch to the point where it doesn't really hurt them that much. That one didn't work out probably as much as they planned. They're going to lose 2 positions.
This time by your leader will still be Tyler McDonough, as we will have little over 12 laps to go here at Talladega Super Speedway. We're on lap 19 of 30 as your leaders do make a switch. Glenn Hedrick's going to make a switch with his teammate Tyler McDonough, pull in front, take the lead, and right behind him is Frank Basilia, Josh Hanner, and you cannot forget the guys to their outside, both Victor Bartlett and Brandon Chaburko. And we're going to go back to 9th position. Dana Osborne is the leader of this second group, and he's got Tony Fenn right on his bumper. They're waiting for stuff to happen up in front of them, but right now they're going to be almost a second behind the leaders.
Again, laps continuing to wind down, this time by about 12 laps to go as they cross the stripe. Take a look for those lap cars of the 20 and the 23. That gets the leader squirrely. McDonough almost loses his hold on the 21 of Hedrick. That's going to hurt them. They're trying to get hooked back up, and now here comes the 7 of Wofford and Donovan to the top as Bartlett and Chaburko make a switch, and the good thing for them is they didn't lose any time because everybody else was all over the place behind them, so a very successful switch. They're going to sit 1-2, but here comes the 7 with a head of steam coming up on the top. That is Wofford trying to make something work at 205 miles an hour into the corner.
Rodney Wofford, Terrence Donovan, with a huge run they made on the outside. They kind of hit a brick wall once they get to Chaburko, but they are battling Chaburko for the lead, as if you were to end it right now, it'd be real close as they go across the line. This time by, your leader is Rodney Wofford, but that was more of a tie, so it goes into more it goes into more decimals than we have. That's only for 10 laps to go. This race is going to be great. And we do have a car that's in trouble. That is Jimmy Tolliver. You know what's going on back there, Evan?
We just heard him come over the radio. He slowly got hit in the left rear, and he is losing a lot of positions. Take a look here on the replay. See what happened. He nearly wrecked it. Lap 21. He's in turns 1 and 2, I believe.
Phil Fultz got into him.
Yeah, 71 just pushed up. I mean, Phil Fultz was following his drafting partner, the 32, and just clipped the 13, and 13 hit Giratano, and somehow the 3 saved that, so another wicked piece of driving, but that's going to basically end both of those drivers' nights as well.
Well, your top 5 with 9 laps to go left here at Talladega is Tyler McDonough, Victor Bartlett, Glenn Hedrick, Brandon Chaburko, and Josh Hanner. that is ever so changing because our leader right now is Victor Bartlett, as he's got about a nose lead in front of Tyler McDonough, and Victor Bartlett with his outstanding drafting partner Brandon Chabarko. They're doing outstanding tonight. Another guy you got to look out for, like I said, Donovan, him and Rodney Wofford have teamed up. But they have 9 laps to make something happen, and I can see that happening.
So there are 8 cars in this lead group, and then Dana Osborne sitting in 9th place, or sorry, Phil Foltz and Kevin Kelly, 9th and 10th spot on the outside looking in, 1.2 seconds back. They're looking to maybe catch up to this group of drivers that we've been following here up front, try to put themselves into contention as the laps are starting to go away, and we're going to start to see a lot more crazy driving, so to speak, as we're still side by side for the lead. You see the 39 to 42 almost down below that first checkered white line, trying to get side draft and slow that bottom line down as much as they can. Now they're going to pull in line to be single file 1st through 8th as we run. Maybe now they're going to hop down, get that little bit of draft, and hop right back up to the high side. So 39-42, not giving up.
Laps are winding down, the action's turning up. We have 7 laps left to go here at Talladega. Your leader is Frank Basilia, and of course right behind him is Josh Hanner, but they have heavy competition from Brandon Chabarko and Victor Bartlett, and I feel like I'm saying.
Looks like an advantage to the 39 of Chabarko into the corner. He's going to now make a switch with his partner, which will make him 3 wide. 39 is going to slide right back in. Now Basilia and Hanner need to make a switch, and now here comes Wofford. Wofford's going to get right up on the bumper of the 5 car. 42 now on the bumper of Basilia. Look at this. Glenn Hedrick on the top side with Tyler McDonough right up next to the wall, trying to wind up as much speed as they can. McDonough tips the wall 3 wide into turn 1.
3 wide to turn 1, 6 laps to go. They might have hit their brick wall as we are now back to 2 wide. They could probably drift back down the middle lane and try to catch some momentum going on into the back straightaway. Your leader is now Rodney Wofford, and Terrence Donovan is in 2nd place. Nice little run by them right there. Your top 5, as of lap 25, is Josh Hanner, Rodney Wofford, Frank Basilia to 3rd, Terrence Donovan, and Victor Bartlett.
And I can guarantee you that the switching is not done, so this will still shuffle as the night goes on, as Glenn Hedrick now switches with McDonough and their partners sitting in the 7th and 8th position right now. Wofford leading the field, followed by Donovan right now. Hanner and Basilia trying to work the top. It's funny because Wofford now is going to get stuck in that Earnhardt sucker hole you mentioned. Now he's in the middle. He's going to drop back. Now the 73, his drafting partner, now wants to pull back up and get with them. And now the 13, Jimmy Tolliver, is wrecked. 17th position. He was bum drafting with Giartano again. I guess it's just the iRacing physics. Lap 25 in the tri-oval just moved up on his bumper and hooked him around. We've seen that so many times. Not sure why the physics do that, but 13 car is going to spin around from that. He ended up saving it. He did go into the inside wall, but that's another incident back there as the laps wide. Now we're still side by side up front.
Coming up on 4 laps to go, your leader is Victor Bartlett, but right to his outside is Terrence Donovan in 2nd. Chabarko in 3rd and Wofford in 4th. Chabarko and Bartlett are going to make their switch, and Bartlett pulls up right in front of Terrence Donovan. That's a great way to make a switch, as Donovan is bumping Victor Bartlett like he's his draft partner, and that might have been is now a botched switch as a 43 McDonald gets right up on Chabarko and gives him the bumper. That was probably at a good 3 or 4 mile an hour difference, as you see McDonald go up and kind of tap Terrence Donovan, as we do have a lap car. That is my boy Andre 3000 up there, aka Kevin Mort. He is going down for his first lap down. He is in the 22nd position, but this time by, we're taking 3 laps to go. Your leader is Brandon Chabarko.
Here we go, top lane starting with the 20 car, trying to make that work. Actually, Matt Bontempi, he is a lap down. He's drafting with the number 29 of Hunter Bowles, so that 20 is a lap car helping out a lead lapper by drafting with him. And now all of a sudden you see McDonough and Hedrick to the front. Hedrick says he's got to switch. He's not going to make it. That's going to slow him down in front of a 3-wide field behind them. Now they're 2 wide. And it's starting to heat up. We're going to come by to take 2 to go this next time by. And it's starting to get crazy here up front. Drivers not really going to check up anymore, I don't think. Side by side and for a second now, Hedrick's going to drop back.
We're taking the start of lap 29 to 30. We do have 2 laps to go left here at Talladega Super Speedway. A little over 5 miles left to go for these drivers. Your leader is now Terrence Donovan. They are coming up on lap cars. Those lap cars are Shane McKeach and Austin Carver. They're going to be 3 wide, and they'll probably make it through there. Terrence Donovan and Rodney Wofford, they made a switch. Rodney Wofford was your leader that time by. They made a switch. They're right on the outside of Chaburko, and both Victor Bartlett, your leader, is currently, and as at the moment, that is Brandon Chaburko, but right to their outside is Terrence Donovan and the 7 of Rodney Wofford. They're going to be there right at the end as we come out of turn 4. 42 and 39 are going to try to make a switch. Going through the trial, but we're coming down to the last lap.
Here we go, 3 wide, 29 to the outside. That's Hunter Bowles. Do we stay clean to the end? The white flag is in the air. Whoever makes it back to the checkered flag or the start finish line wins it. 29, 3, there they go. 20's in it. 32 cars gonna save it. Bustilli
we have another wreck.
Turn. Another wreck in the back. Doesn't matter. No cautions. They're wrecking in turn 2, but we're green down the back straightaway. And now we're single file. Hedrick's gonna try to make something work with Wofford. Wofford comes down on McDonough. He's getting heat there. That number 43 needs a bump. It's a 2-horse race, the 39 to 42. Gonna try to duke it out here at the end. Let's see who steps out of line first. 42 is gonna go to the high side. Not sure if he's gonna get it. Here comes Hedrick to the bottom. Huge run for Glenn Hedrick. He's gonna go all the way to the yellow line. He can't get it done.
And they wreck at the finish line.
Winner, Brandon Chaburko, by 9,000ths of a second.
Might have only been by 9,000, but that
And they're wrecking.
I put them on
They're
notice.
wrecking across the line also.
I put them on notice after that B main, and they did not disappoint tonight. Your winner tonight, Brandon Chaburko. Let's go through the top 5 real quick. Brandon Chaburko, Victor Bartlett, Glenn Hedrick, Tyler McDonough, newcomer. He could have finished 4th. Rodney Wofford finished 5th.
Well, what a last lap. I mean, we wrecked it, in turns 1 and 2. We had 2 wrecks, and they wrecked it coming across the stripe. Well, we saw 3 wide. It wasn't as close as last time, but hey, great finish. Drivers are sideways and taking a look. The 39 Chaburko was kind of out of shape, too, coming across the line, trying to hold his own, and another great finish and another great race for the Super Speedway Cup Series. Never disappointing here. And that win goes to Brandon Chaburko, sitting as 8th in the points coming into tonight. So that'll definitely help him out. Victor Bartlett, points leader, is going to take home a 2nd position.
That's an outstanding race for Chaburko and his teammate Bartlett. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have interviews with the top 3. Don't tune out. You are watching ETV Live. The ETV Live's broadcast of the SuperspeedwaySeries.com Cup Series.
welcome back, everybody, to the post-race show here on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. Again, Corn Dog and Corona Night here from Talladega Super Speedway with the Super Speedway Cup Series, SSSeries.com. We just caught an amazing finish to the A main after a great night of racing here on ETV Live, and I'm down here now on pit road with the number 21 of Glenn Hedrick finishing in third position. Glenn, you started this race in fourth. I guess it helps to stay up front. Talk to us about that finish. All right, Clint Monahan, I believe you may be caught up with our second place finisher being the number 42 car of Victor Bartlett.
Victor Bartlett, you got a copy.
10-4.
Awesome, Victor. Outstanding race by you and your teammate Chaburko tonight. Is there anything you've done different strategy-wise from previous races, or has it just worked out better tonight?
It just worked out better. Me and Brandon, I've worked pretty well together. I thought at one time we were going to be pushed to the back, but we worked our way up, and I'm glad to see Brandon win a race.
Now tell me about your race today.
It was pretty long. There was a lot of moving around. I was trying to get as many laps led as I possibly could. Don't know if I pulled that off or not, but hey, I led one lap, got the bonus point, and looks like I opened up a little bit of the points lead on second place.
Is there anybody you want to thank tonight?
Yep. Of course, everybody at Slingshot Motorsports, my teammate Brandon, Josh Hanner, as well as everybody else on ETV and Prod Flag.
Victor Bartlett, congratulations on your second place finish. Evan, who are you
Thank
with?
you.
Well, we're down here in the Gatorade Victory Lane with your race winner, the number 39 of Brandon Chaburko. Again, getting it done with your drafting partner. You're going to make it to Victory Lane again. You came into tonight's race somewhere around 8th place in the points. This can definitely help you out as the season starts to wind down.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a win, I mean, that definitely helps out with the points. I mean, Victor's just had such a fantastic season. It's going to be tough for anyone to beat him. I think he's definitely got the championship on lock now with all these solid finishes he's had throughout the season. And definitely happy to get a win here.
Now, talk us through this race. Obviously, with the Super Speedway Cup Series, we have a whole bunch of short sprint races, so to call. JD calls it big track racing, short track style. Well, this race a little bit more conventional, 30 laps, no caution still, so it takes a lot more strategy. I noticed that you and the 42 were maybe switching a little bit more than others. Was that so that you could push a little bit longer at the end?
I mean, the cars, I guess it was with the weather being, I didn't check how the weather was, but it was hot, and I guess the humidity with the new build, these cars just get hot really fast now.
And talk us through that finish. You were able to hold it off on the middle of 3 wide. Protecting your position, do you think you were going when we worked our way off turn number 4, obviously you were expecting Victor to jump out of line. Is it just a matter of holding your own or maybe trying to run a little bit of a defensive line that you still got it done?
Yeah, I was definitely trying to run a little bit of a defensive line. I wasn't trying to wreck anyone, but all worked out in the end.
And definitely, well, in Victory Lane, who makes it happen for you?
All my teammates at Slingshot Motorsports. Definitely got to thank Victor for working with me all night, getting me that win, and everyone at ETV for broadcasting.
And definitely great night out. 39's going to end it in Victory Lane and Clint Monahan. Let's take another check. You might have a copy with the number 21 of Glenn Hedrick on the radio.
Glenn Hedrick, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Take us through your race.
Man, that was a great race. I'd like to thank Tyler for working with me. He's been gone for a while. It's nice to see him back. But yeah, it's a clean race up front anyway, and just trying to stay up there and survive to that last lap. Got a little push from Rodney there, and tried to take it 3 wide, but Brandon got the win. So congrats to him.
Yeah, I did like that move you had in the trophy dash. Were you trying to go for something like that again in the A-main?
Yeah. Coming into that travel, you can really, if you got somebody pushing you up high, you can really dive down and get a good run. I think I had a good shot at that trophy dash. Donnie Donnie just, I mean, that happened so fast. He just didn't know I was there already. But yeah, I'll take top. I think fourth in the Trophy Dash and third here. It's a good night.
And who makes it happen for you?
I'd like to thank my sponsor, Atlantic Marine, and ETV, and HD Radio Network, and thanks again to Rodney there and Tyler for working with me tonight.
That is Glenn Hedrick, your third place finisher tonight. Back to you, Evan.
Well, we saw again another great night of racing from the Super Speedway Cup Series. Never disappoints every Friday nights here on ETV Live, and 2 races left in the season. Let's see how this points thing will shake out after tonight, and we'll see you guys next week. Our last 2 races that we saw tonight, being the B main and the A main, were all 3 wide at the finish. Clint, what was your take on the great night of racing?
Once again, I'm not disappointed at all. Super Speedway racing can get so monotonous, but the way it's put on here in the Super Speedway Cup Series, it's one outstanding show after another. Whether it's the third heat race, or the B main, or the Trophy Dash, and of course the A main is always good. We're just never disappointed. I'm glad I've been a part of it again tonight.
Well, going at it tonight, Victor Bartlett's going to open up his point lead to 18 points with 2 races to go. It was a wicked night of racing. Again, Super Speedway Cup never disappoints, and we'll be back next Friday night for race number 9 at Daytona. For J.D. Webb and John Westling doing what they do down there in the production holler, Clint Monahan, my name is Evan Pasoko. Thanks for watching ETV Live's live coverage of the Super Speedway Cup Series Racing's SSSeries.com, presented by the HD Radio Network, and we will see you guys next Friday.